Hello everyone, my name is Zach. I am the Traveling Man, and if you've watched my videos here on the channel, you've probably already noticed that most of the time, am a solo traveler. I've gone on 6 cruises solo out of the 14 cruises, so almost half of my cruises have been solo cruises. I've flown across the world solo, I've flown across country solo. A lot of folks have reached out to me on social media, primarily on Instagram, and if you've not followed me yet on Instagram, I invite you to. It's at Zach, the Traveling Man, and you can send me messages on there, you can get behind the scenes looks at what I'm doing, where I'm going, weeks before it ever hits the channel. So make sure you give me a follow over there at Zach the Traveling Man on Instagram. But folks have sent me messages over there. Hey, I noticed that you're a solo traveler. I'm thinking about booking a solo cruise. What can you tell me? And I'm always happy to share my experiences with those folks. But I thought, why not make a video of some of this stuff to share with a much wider audience and let folks know what it's like. So in this video today, I want to provide 10 tips for solo cruisers. If you're thinking about booking that next cruise by yourself, maybe it's going to be your first cruise by yourself, maybe you have fears, anxieties about it, just not knowing what to expect, maybe some of these will help you. I was in the same boat the first time I booked my first solo cruise, not knowing what to expect. I've actually done this now 6 times, and all my cruises that I currently have scheduled into the future are all solo. That's how much I've enjoyed it. So let's jump right into these 10 tips for solo cruisers. My first tip I have for you, tip number 1, is buy the internet package. Most cruise lines do offer some sort of internet package. You get a certain amount of data per day, maybe it's unlimited data, all the way up to like streaming packages where you can literally just sit in your cabin, bring your iPad or laptop and just stream Netflix all throughout the cruise. So it's a wide range of internet options on the cruise, but if you're traveling solo, I highly recommend that you purchase the internet, whatever package might be best for you, because there might be times during your cruise that you have downtime. Not sailing with someone, so you don't have 24/7 conversation with someone. You know, you wake up and there's someone there. There might be downtimes when you might feel a little bit bored, honestly, and you know, you just want to sit out on your balcony and scroll through social media, or you want to message someone back home. So it's good for that purpose, but it's also good to keep in touch with someone, especially if you're traveling solo. You want to have contact with folks back home. And buying the internet is a great way to do that. Of course, if you're on a cruise and way out on the ocean, you're not going to have cellular data anyway, so you're going to have to depend on that internet package to have communication. And anytime you're traveling solo, I highly recommend you to have a source of communication. So of course, if you buy the internet package, you'll be able to text someone, you'll be able to, go on social media and send messages to folks. You can even post your pictures and make folks back home jealous that you're traveling all by yourself on a cruise somewhere and they're not. So a lot of pluses to that. But one thing I found, and one of the big benefits, I think, to buying the internet is that you can make Wi-Fi calling. If you enable Wi-Fi calling on your phone, most of the time you can make phone calls. I have, talked for hours to folks, back on land from a cruise ship using Wi-Fi calling. So it's a great way to keep connected to folks. So I highly recommend that you buy the internet package. Tip number 2 is dine without hesitation. And what do I mean by that? Well, a little bit of a backstory. That first solo cruise I took by myself, probably the biggest concern I had, the biggest worry, and the biggest embarrassing moment, no one look at me, because I'm sailing by myself, came in the main dining room when I was at dinner, and I thought, everyone in this dining room must be looking at me. I'm sitting at this table by myself. I remember being sort of embarrassed the first few nights in the main dining room. They'd sit me at a table and it just felt like everyone was looking at you, but I quickly learned that folks don't care that you're by yourself. They're at their own tables. They're doing their own thing, So dine without hesitation. Go to the main dining room. Go to the specialty restaurants. If you feel that it's too much for you, maybe, you don't want to eat by yourself or you feel weird about it, then maybe try going to the Lido or something like that. Because there's so many people in there, no one even notices if you sit at a table by yourself in the Lido, or, like if you're on Carnival and you go to Guy's Burger or somewhere like that. No one cares, but dine without hesitation, because believe me, no one else is looking at you, and I don't even think about it now. When I'm on a dinner by myself now, I love going to the main dining room. I love, putting on nice clothes at the end of the day, going to the main dining room and being waited on. I love it. I use that time to, look at pictures I've taken on my phone. Maybe I'm going to post to my social media and catch up on social media a little bit, answer some messages that some of you have sent to Zach the Traveling Man on social media platforms. I just use that as time to sort of, me time. I'm going to eat a nice dinner. I'm going to be waited on by great staff. So feel free to take your phone. Like I said, it goes in with tip number 1. Buy that internet package. Take your phone to dinner. You can scroll, social media, the news. Just take time for you, and you'll figure out, what you enjoy doing to make up some of that time where you normally would be speaking to someone else across the table at dinner. but you're just there by yourself. But dine without hesitation, enjoy all that your cruise has to offer, and don't let the fact that you're sailing solo hold you up or cause you not to do something. You know, don't let it hold you back from going to the dining room if you enjoy going to the dining room. My third tip for solo travelers is to look for solo supplements. And if you're new to solo cruising, you might be like, what does solo supplement mean? I'll tell you this, when you're gonna sail solo on a cruise ship, most of the time you're gonna be charged double because they charge and book the rooms based upon double occupancy, so based upon 2 people in the room. So the solo supplement is sort of a reduction in that double rate. So instead of them charging you 100% extra, maybe it's only 75% or only 50%. And here, during the pandemic, you know, these cruise lines have really been trying to fill these cruise ships with as many people as they can. They've completely, well, some of them have completely cut them on certain dates, just depending on how many people are booked on that cruise. But you can find really good deals sometimes. I know I booked a cruise on Celebrity coming up, the Celebrity Edge, that should cost me over $2,000 easy as a solo traveler, and I'm barely paying $1,000 for it because they slashed the solo supplement so much because they're trying to fill the ship. One easy way to look for these solo supplements is a website. I'm not sponsored by this website, but it is one that I use and I want to share with you as a tip. It's cruiseplum.com, and I'll put the link right here on the screen. At the very top of their website, they have a little tab in the menu that says solo. Just click on that and it'll show you all the cruises from here to however far out schedules are made that currently have some sort of a deal or some sort of reduction in the solo supplement. And typically, once I find a cruise that I want to go on Cruise Plum, I'll just go to the cruise line's website itself and book directly from there. My fourth tip for you is to go at your own pace. And this is sort of just highlighting one of the benefits of going on a cruise solo. What do I mean at go at your own pace? Well, I mean dine when you want to. Dine where you want to. You are the only one in your travel party making these decisions. So if you wanted to go to the same specialty restaurant 4 nights in a row on your cruise, you know what? As long as there's reservations available, you absolutely can. You can go to dinner whenever you want. You can go to shows when you want. You can go to comedy whenever you want. You can go on whatever excursions you want to go to. You know, you're like, hey, I just want to stay on the ship and hang out. You can do that. You don't have to feel like you have to go on an excursion just because someone else in your travel party is. You can do absolutely whatever you want to. So take advantage of that. Another benefit in this and going solo is that you typically can always find seating in shows or comedy. I've been on Carnival cruise ships plenty of times solo, including most recently on the Carnival Mardi Gras, their mega ship. And going to comedy most nights when you first walk in, you know, there are no seats available, but I guarantee you 99% of the time there's going to be one seat somewhere in the audience. Like someone has kept a seat clear between them and the party next to them. You can slide right in being that solo cruiser. My fifth tip for you is to inform others about your travel plans. And this is sort of a little bit broader than just cruises. Anytime you're going to be traveling by yourself, whether that's a cruise, whether you're on a flight, you know, especially if you're traveling international, make sure that someone knows of your itinerary. You know, give someone a listing of like each day I'm going to be here, I'm going to be staying here. Here's contact information for my hotel. Here's contact information for the ship I'm going to be on. Most of the time you can go on the cruise line's website, just do a Google search is what I typically do, and you can find out the ship's phone number. That way if something happens, there's an emergency back home or something, and a family member's trying to get a hold of you, they can simply call that number and tell someone, hey, I'm looking for my relative who is on this cruise ship, maybe even give them your room number, and they can then call the ship and locate you and get a hold of you. So make sure that you give any type of travel information to a trusted contact that is staying at home. This also applies to any air travel. There are great websites. One I use very frequently, again, not sponsored, is FlightAware. FlightAware, you can go on and find your flight information. It'll show your like live location as you fly. Like if you're flying, say, from New York to LA, there'll be a map there showing the entire time exactly where you are. It's a good way for folks to see, you know, that your flight's arrived and that you've safely landed in whatever city you're going to. So make sure that you hit up FlightAware next time that you're going on a flight solo, and they actually have easy sharing options available inside their app, and I think they even have a website version of that. But you can easily email or text your flight information. It's also important to maybe remember some of the travel documents that you're taking with you, your passport, birth certificate, any visas or anything like that. Maybe make a photocopy of those and leave those with that same trusted contact back home. Now this might be important and helpful if somewhere along your trip, perhaps you lose your travel documents. Say you lose your passport somewhere, it falls out of your bag and you don't have it. Well, now you have someone who actually has a copy of it who can then send you an email or PDF or something of that travel document that you now need. So it's always important to let a trusted contact know where you're going, when you're going to be at certain places, how to get a hold of you in each of those places. Leave copies of your travel documents just so there's always someone who can, sort of be your advocate if something bad were to happen or if someone didn't hear from you in days. And I know that sounds kind of morbid and dire, but it's very important when you travel alone that you have contact with a trusted someone back at home. My sixth tip for solo cruisers is say hello to new folks, make new friends. There's many ways to do this. Of course, once you're on board, there are plenty of ways to meet new people, but I'm even talking about before the cruise. There's a lot of Facebook groups. In fact, I think there's probably a Facebook group for every cruise that you could possibly take, and that's one of the first things I do when I book a new cruise. I go on Facebook to see if there's been a group made for it. I don't interact a lot, but it's just cool to see like what other people post. A lot of times they'll post helpful information, things that they've heard through their travel advisors, and they share it with the group. But I also see a lot of folks that go into those groups and they say, hey, I'm a solo traveler on this cruise. Does anyone want to meet up? When they make friends and establish relationships with folks before they ever even go on the cruise. Of course, a lot of folks know about Cruise Critic and the message boards they have over there and the Cruise Critic forums. I visit that a lot and I've met a lot of folks through that. So there's a lot of methods out there for you to meet other people who are going to be on your same cruise. You can chat with them and sort of get to know them before the cruise. But if you're on the cruise itself, also a lot of ways for to meet folks. I've met folks all over the world every time I travel. Just say hello to folks when you're traveling. That's one of my favorite parts of traveling is just meeting new people, maybe that are on my cruise or just other people that I meet on a beach somewhere that are maybe staying at a local resort. Just say hi to people. Number 7, explore ports freely, but be aware. Now, there are so many options, especially if you're sailing in the Caribbean, for excursions for your cruise vacation. The most popular and easiest being to book excursions directly through the cruise line. Now, these are typically going to be more expensive. You're going to pay more for these, but it's going to ensure you that you're sticking to the cruise ship time, because if you are on a cruise ship sponsored excursion, when you've purchased through the cruise line, and say at the end of the day, the excursion is running late getting you back to the ship's going to wait on you. They're going to make sure that you are on board the ship before they leave that port. So that's one way to sort of ensure that, hey, I'm going on a cruise ship sponsored excursion. I know that I'm going to get back to the ship on time. But you also are going to be on that excursion with people from the ship. So that's another layer of safety that might make you feel better about cruising solo and being solo on an excursion, is that you're surrounded on this excursion by people from your actual cruise. So I highly recommend, at least the first time you go on a cruise by yourself, that you book an excursion through the cruise line for all your ports of call. That way, you don't have to worry about or feel weird about being out, on this island or this port of call or out in this new country to you, totally alone. You technically are alone because you're sailing solo, but you're with people from your actual cruise, from your same ship. And I'll say this, because I have gone solo so many times now, I don't always book through the cruise line. I actually just book whatever's cheapest or whatever I want to do. I'll usually just do it and go off on myself and do it. But I feel very, very comfortable in that. If I go to Europe most of the time or somewhere I've not been before, a country I've not been before, and there's going to be a lot of that coming up. I'm going to be going to Japan. I'm going to be going to Australia. If it's somewhere new like that I don't know where in the world I'm at, once I get in the port and I don't feel like I do a good job of navigating myself around, I will book through the cruise line. Even me, consider myself pretty experienced at sailing and traveling solo, I still want to be with the cruise ship excursion because there's just so many things that could happen. And I just like that safety of knowing that there is a tour guide out there who has my number, literally, like they know they got 30 people on this excursion. If one of them wanders off, they got to go find them or figure out where they're at. So it's a good safety layer that someone always knows where you're at and they'll get you back to the ship. My number 8 tip, and this is sort of a benefit of booking and sailing solo, is enjoy the schedule flexibility. You have a lot more schedule flexibility when you sail solo because you don't have to wait on anyone else. You don't have to figure out if your vacation lines up with their vacation, if they can get off when you can get off. So just enjoy that and take advantage of that. There are times of the year, it seems to be in February, but definitely in September and October, when you can book cruises cheaper than you can any other time of the year. So you can save yourself quite a bit of money. You can get those good solo supplements when you sail at a certain time of the year. And when you're not beholden to someone else's schedule, only your own, you get to go whenever and as often even. You don't have to wait to collect people either, or wait and ask around, hey, do you want to go on a cruise? Hey, do you want to go on a cruise? Just book it and go if you want to go on one. And I think that's why we've seen a lot more people sailing solo in the past couple of years is folks just want to travel. They want to get out there and they don't want to wait on anyone else. So that's a big perk of sailing and traveling by yourself. Tip number 9 I have for you, if you're considering sailing by yourself, just do it. Just go for it. Just get out there and try it. Perhaps try a 3 or 4 day cruise first, just to see if it's right for you, to see if you're going to be totally comfortable. But just do it. There are a lot of things in your mind. There's a lot of probably questions and doubts you have. But the only way you're going to overcome those is to just get out there, to book that cruise, start planning that cruise, to start going on social media if you want, and making friends before the cruise. Just get out there and start planning your next cruise vacation solo. And finally, my last tip number 10 for you, is have fun. Again, it can be very intimidating to sail solo, especially the first cruise you go on. You can have so much fun sailing by yourself, traveling by yourself. Just go out and explore the world. There's so much to see out there. And I've had so much fun traveling by myself. 6 cruises out of 14, so almost half, have been solo. And I have had probably the most fun on those trips I've gone on by myself. It's just amazing. The people that you meet, the places that you'll see, all the flexibilities that you have in your schedule. To me, it's my preferred way of traveling. I enjoy going on trips with people, but I have really come to prefer sailing and traveling by myself. I don't feel off-put by it. I don't feel awkward about it or weird about it. I just enjoy all the flexibility that it gives me, and it allows me to have a great time no matter what the vacation is. So have fun, go out there, book that trip. And if you have any questions, let me know down in the comments below, or send me a message on Instagram or social media. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you have found it useful in booking your next trip or your next cruise vacation. Make sure you go down below and subscribe to the channel. And until next time, I'll see you on the next adventure. One way you can allow others to know where you are is using a tracking device, sort of like a tile or even an air tag. Put it in your luggage or put it in your clothing, put it in your pocket when you go out for the day, and let someone else back home share that location with them so they can see where you are. That way, if you go off the grid, again, not trying to be morbid or anything, they're going to be able to see hopefully where you're at and find you.